Well, I certainly am, Vern. I guess, at 65 is, great, any day, but today the wind was blowing, and I was just trying to be conservative out there and make some pars, and ended up making some birdies and had a good round.
We saw one of those birdies on 9 with a putt that was just unbelievable, about 40 feet, I guess.
Well, it was about 40 feet. It was my last hole, and I had it off the back of the green, and I was just trying to lag it towards the hole. It had about a 3-foot break, and I lagged it up there, and it just kept rolling down, went right in the hole.
Don, was the putting the best aspect of your round today?
Yes, I would say it was. Though I hit the ball, I thought, well, but I've hit the ball this well, a lot of rounds, but I just made some putts, and I don't know, I ended up with a good score, but I think mainly because I made some putts.
Well, I understand you were telling some of us that you used a shorter putter today.
Well, I did. It's 33 inches, and usually I use 36, and it felt awful good today.
It was kind of a makeshift thing, though. You just chopped off the end of it Sunday night at your home?
Well, I did. I just thought about trying one, so I went out in the garage and just took the hacksaw and cut it off and put a grip on it and brought it with me.
Boy, this is really exciting. You and Elvis, my hero.
Oh, come on. Okay.
I couldn't help but throw that in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honey, you got to be, or are you satisfied with the one over today?
Well, not really. I'm really trying to get my game going, and 71 I don't think will hurt anything for the week if I could get playing a little better as the week goes on, but certainly 71 isn't going to do anything ultimately.
You indicated that you said you might want to take a rest for a few tournaments and work on your game. Can you work on your game better away from the tournaments or on the circuit?
Well, I'm going to definitely take a rest. I'm going to stop playing for a while and get a little rest, see if I can't get my game going, and I think it's probably time I do that.
Is there any particular part of your game that you really want to work on?
Well, I think the whole thing needs a little revamping and a little work. Everything from the driving right through the putting. Today I could have probably salvaged a pretty good round if I'd have made a few putts, but at the same time I would have liked to play a little better and had it in position to not have to make so many putts.
And let me assure you that your attention should be employees, cafeteria, and you're all cordial.
Hold up that news.
I thought.
See what I'm doing? We looked up and put our hands on.
Little bit. More
Great work.
My putting, I had 25 putts today, and that's really something to do, you know. And of course, I work hard at it, and I just hope I can keep it up.
Don Bees came in with a 65 today, and what do you think about that round?
I think that's an unbelievable round, and Don is due to win a tournament. He's a wonderful player, and he's never won, but I sure hope he does win a tournament. And the 65 is just unheard of. I thought about 68 would lead the tournament today, or this morning, and he was 3 shots better than I thought.
Few of the men playing on the professional golf tour are not crowd favorites. Probably one of the biggest crowd favorites is Chichi Rodriguez. I hauled him out of the locker room, and he was characteristically giving advice to his friends on the tour.
Does the crowd bother you if it doesn't seem to be with you?
No, the crowd don't bother me. As a matter of fact, they help me because all the people all over the United States have always liked me, and all over the world, as far as I'm concerned. They seem to pull for the underdog, which I am. I always been the underdog because I'm small, you know, and I have the accent in my language, so the people seem to like me very much, and I appreciate that. I love everybody.
They sometimes say some pretty funny things, too. What about that story that's told about you, in fact, on this golf course a few years ago?
Well, that actually happened. You see, Arnie Palmer was playing, and everybody watched him. Then I came to a hole, to the same hole, and the woman didn't know that I was there already. And she asked the other lady, she says, who's coming up? And they say, well, Rodriguez, and I forgot the other two guys' names. And she says, well, let's go get a hot dog. So since that, I call myself the hot dog pro.
Anybody else call you the hot dog pro?
Yeah, a lot of people do. They have a good time doing it.
And it doesn't bother you?
No, nothing bothers me, John. I'm really happy to be making a living the way I'm making it, and I thank the people, and I thank God for giving me the opportunity that He has given me to be competing for all this money and to live in a beautiful country like the U.S.
When I walked into the locker room a while ago, you were standing giving what appeared to be advice on clubs, shafts, and grips, and that sort of thing. A lot of the fellas, particularly the younger fellas, seem to come to you for that, don't they?
Yeah, a lot of the young guys ask me about a lot of things, but Dave Hill and I were talking about a couple set of clubs that he has there, and Dave is one of the guys that knows more about the game among the pros. As a matter of fact, he's gave me a lot of tips in golf, and I have gave him some tips too, and we were discussing a couple sets of clubs that he had there, and one of them looked real good, but he's going to change the grips on it.
How did you trade information back and forth on one day or after a round and go out the next morning and play hard against that guy, hoping to beat him?
Well, you don't play the guy, really. You try to play the golf course, play hole by hole, and you don't pull for anybody, but you don't pull against anybody, you know. And
it's a game against yourself?
Yeah, it's a game against yourself. But when you're going real good, you start pulling for the other guys too, you know. And I just believe that the pros are a bunch of great guys out here.
It's an unusual sport in that respect, isn't it? Is there any other sport like that where you play against yourself and you pull for the other guy?
Well, that's why I believe that golf and bowling are probably the two hardest sports there is, and it's because you don't have anybody to help you there. You're there by yourself, and you are competing against 143 guys every week. You see, in boxing, you compete against one guy, and in tennis, you compete against one guy, and all the other sports seem like you are always competing against one other guy, but not in golf. In golf, well, you take, for example, today, Don Beach at 65. Well, that's a fantastic round, you know, and you got about 100 guys out here that can win.
Including you.
Well, I every once in a while, when they leave the back door open, I kind of sneak in, you know. But I win my share.
Oh, thank you very much.
John, give everybody in Dallas my love. All the people here are great people, and I'm just happy to be here in Dallas again.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's Chichi Rodriguez, and we'll have more from News 8, etc. coming up in just a moment.
Too bad you don't have your...
Went to a legal bona fide picket that our local authorizes, you know.
How large, long do you think, honestly, this is going to go on?
I don't really have any idea, Jerry. I mean, Jim, I really don't have any idea. They might.
Safeway and Tom Thumb food stores have admitted to the Internal Revenue Service that certain of their stores have been in violation of the president's ceiling on meat prices. Specifically in the case of Safeway, they will roll back meat prices on 35 processed items for the next 27 days in 7 of their stores. This will be equal to the number of days that these specific stores violated the price ceiling. In the case of Tom Thumb, the Internal Revenue Service investigators found all the stores to be in violation of the method of computing ceiling prices. On the other hand, 4 stores were selling in excess of the computed ceiling price, which in itself was erroneous. 33 items will be reduced for the next 17 days at Tom Thumb.
They made the decision. They said that they had nothing to do with it, that it didn't, that Dr. Pickard was completely in charge, and as far as they were concerned, that I wouldn't get my job back, and all the attendants that walked out would not get their jobs back for supporting me. And they said that all they said they would do would be listen to me, that they wouldn't do anything about it. And I said, well, do we have any other recourse? And he said, no, I have no other recourse, that I am fired. And the attendants that walked out with me were also fired.
Well, I don't know how long exactly the Houston people are going to be here. If they're here long enough, possibly, and people continue to honor as they have, there's not going to be any meat in the markets sooner or later if, you know, these people do continue to honor the picket line.
Well, right now, as I understand it, you're cutting it off at the packing house level, and stores themselves are not yet affected.
All I can say is that they instructed us that they're going to be in this area. When they hit a plant, they call us and tell us we're going to be at the Safeway plant or the Kroger plant, and we contact the companies letting them know that there will be pickets, a legal bona fide picket in their area.
That's all we need.
Don't forget it. The agreement we had with Chavez, we want to call the church name, of the so-called W. That's why. New publication of what Right.
And I think they do feel that.
The best way that I could answer George Meany, not from his remarks he made about this, but in all his remarks that he's been making lately, that he's just a frustrated old man. He was frustrated on the pay board when he walked off. He was frustrated on the election of the President of the United States. He is frustrated here because of his agreement. If farm workers were covered under this act, they would have the right to secret ballot elections supervised by the U.S. government, in which they could vote for the union of their choice. Other American workers enjoy this right. Farm workers should also enjoy this right. Additionally, if farm workers were covered under the National Labor Relations Act, they would be protected from unfair labor practices of unions and employers alike. Position. I can't answer for now today. The contract was real office.
Do you think some of the growers were
Production you've been hoping for as a consumer. But if you shop the right Safeway and the right Tom Thumb, within those specified days, you will get a break, at least temporarily, on your meat prices. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.
For any pictures or anything. Did somebody let you in on the gate to take pictures and anything?
There's nobody there.
Okay.
Eastville, remember? I don't know, Eastville must be away. We're proud of Eastville.
For the staff.
You gonna leave or you gonna leave? Well, whatever you want.
Judge, you said you want to have this meeting open.
This is personnel matter as far as the court's concerned, and I think we have the right.
Well, in that for the protection of the person involved though, and this person is waiving it.
We're interested in protecting all people, our doctors, our nurses, our other employees. We're not in.
It was about 10 o'clock last night when a night watchman heard a noise out here on the Texaco lot. It was sometime later, however, before someone reported to him that a tank had toppled over off its base and gasoline was spilling out across the lot. Assistant Fire Chief Sheehan on the scene today tells Channel 8 News that the wind is helping. Of course, they would love a hot, dry day, so this gasoline would evaporate. But even at that, the wind is moving the gasoline into a drainage ditch where it is more easily picked up by siphons aboard huge tankers. No one knows at this time how many gallons of fuel were in this tank. No one at the scene knows the exact capacity of the tank. However, it is illegal to fill these tanks to capacity. Because of heavy rains recently, the gasoline would not soak into the ground, but rather lay on top of puddles of water already in the area, thus causing complete concern for a potential fire. Chief Sheehan says that if anything should set this gasoline off before it can be siphoned up, that probably this whole tank yard would go. At the Texaco plant, 3900 Singleton, this is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.